Hi, my name is Colin Ryan, and I'm going to discuss with you the security vulnerabilities associated with remote working. So, what is the remote workplace? That's just working outside of a traditional office space. This is going to offer more flexibility to employees, and we've also seen it increase greatly over the past years due to COVID. But there is a higher potential for security risks and failures when people work from home. So, what are the objectives of this presentation? We're going to discuss 8 security failures from working from home. We're going to relate these failures to the principle of the CIA Triad. We're going to explain some design principles that have been violated and also recommend some design principles that is needed for remote working. What is the CIA Triad? Well, that stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality is the effort to keep data private. Integrity is ensuring that data can be trusted and it is authentic and reliable. And availability is network systems and applications are up and running, they're available. So why is the CIA Triad important? Well, it's a commonly followed model that enhances security posture and helps organizations regulate and ensure business continuity. It depends on an organization's objectives and goals, how much they focus on each category. Also, threats will be handled more efficiently using this model. So what are the 8 security failures working from home we're going to discuss? It'd be not utilizing a VPN, use of personal devices for business needs, having too much access, unencrypted file sharing, phishing threats, weak passwords, company devices for personal use, and lack of updating software. So first we have not utilizing a VPN. This could pose potential security vulnerabilities, such as if your router is not up to date, your home Wi-Fi is insecure, or you're using public Wi-Fi. There's no network encryption. So if something was intercepted, it could be vulnerable. Also, IT can't monitor your traffic, and this fails our defense in depth principle. And it's going to lower our confidentiality because our data is not private. And integrity could also be lowered if something were to become compromised by an attacker. Next, we have use of personal devices for business needs. So this is if an employee used a cell phone or their personal laptop to access company emails or sensitive data. There's a greater risk of malware if they lost or had their device stolen. It could also be compromised that way. And then there's legal issues if you did have company information and that was taken off your personal device. Also, IT has no access to it, and your updates aren't regulated by them. So this is going to fail minimizing our attack surface because it's really giving another way attackers could get information from the company is accessing your personal device. And this will lower all 3 of our categories here for our CIA Triad. Next, we have having too much access. So employees, contractors, and vendors who have more access than what's needed to perform their job. It's going to fail the principle of least privilege, and our confidentiality is going to go down because our data is no longer private. Next, we have unencrypted file sharing. So employees are sending sensitive data regularly. If this data was to be intercepted and not encrypted, the stolen information can lead to ransomware attacks, PII and IP loss, and also pose legal risks for the companies. This is going to fail secure file sharing, and our confidentiality and integrity are going to decrease. Phishing threats. This is if an employee opens malicious content or clicks on spoofs, links. Our confidentiality is going to go down as well for this. Weak passwords. If an employee working from home is using repeated passwords on their devices or logins, if they're short, common, or using personal information in their passwords, and also not locking their devices. Working from home, people may feel more secure and get up and not lock or secure their laptop, which could pose a security risk. And this is going to fail password management, and our confidentiality is going to decrease. Using company devices for personal use. So this is kind of like our other situation, but if you use a company device for personal use, you're going to risk another malware infection. If you click on any phishing emails, you will infect the company device, using it to view media. And employees do this for convenience, but it really poses a big security risk. And this failed secure by default. Companies should not allow employees to download applications that aren't for business use or anything that's not going to be used in the business that could be unsafe. And our availability and confidentiality is going to go down for this. And last, we have updating and patching devices. So devices and software may not be regularly updated if you're working from home. And IT doesn't have access to these devices as well. So if you're having issue with an update or ran into other problems where you couldn't get it done, there's no way to have IT look at it until you get it in. So it could pose as a security risk if you keep using it. This is going to fail our patch management principle. Our availability is going to go down, accessing company networks and systems, and our integrity is also going to go down as well. So now we're going to look at some recommended design principles needed for remote working. And we're going to look at those failures and add a principle to each one. So not utilizing a VPN. Well, we should follow the principle of secure configuration and network security. All of our network traffic needs to be encrypted, and if a company has a VPN, you should use it. Also, don't use unsecure Wi-Fi's and public Wi-Fi. Next, we have using personal devices for businesses. Companies need to limit access. Emails, sensitive information, and programs should not be available on personal devices. This is going to minimize the attack surface. Next, we have too much access. We need to practice the principle of least privilege. Only give employees, vendors, contractors the privileges they need and nothing more. Unencrypted file sharing. We need to practice the principle of cryptography. All file sharing needs to be encrypted. In case it was intercepted, it could still be secure. Next, we have phishing threats. Employees need training and resources to respond to these. If employees aren't trained how to identify them or don't have the resources to identify them, a company's going to be more at risk. So we need to make sure training is in order. Then we have weak passwords. We need to practice the principle of password management, have minimum requirements, have passwords changed regularly, and make sure employees aren't reusing passwords. Then company devices for personal use. We have principle of access management. Company devices should not be able to download applications or programs not related to business needs. And then last, we have updating, patching devices. We need to follow the principle of patch management, make sure all devices that are being used are regularly patched and monitored by the company. And here's a list of my references. Thank you.